Are you here with me now? Would ask you a question. But before I ask you the question, it's important that we're in the right place to answer it. So I want to try and get your thinking mind out of the way before I ask you this question. So check into your body and connect to your breath, or find some other hook, your senses, or the ache in your neck, or the light on the wall, or choose a couple of things maybe to focus on, to bring your attention here into the present moment, or hooks to mindfulness. I'm going to use my breath. Okay, are you here? Are you here with me now? Are you here now? Are you here? Who are you now? Who are you now in this moment? Well, you're you, aren't you? Stay here. Is there anything wrong with who you are now? Nope. Can you be any more than who you are right now? Well, it would appear that you've already made it. I can hear something. I go, no, don't listen to him. Because there's two of you, isn't there? There's the real you here now, as you are, perfect, whole, complete as you are. And then there's the me in the head, the voices in the head that you've been watching for, a few weeks now, haven't you? And collectively in mindfulness, we call these thoughts, or this identification with thoughts, if you like, the ego. And that's not strictly speaking what Freud meant by the ego. I'm not quite sure what Freud meant by anything. But anyway, what I mean by the ego in mindfulness is me, my identity, who you think you are. Who you think you are. Is it who you are? Or just who you think you are? Behavioural psychologists talk about this thing called conditioning, classical conditioning, operant conditioning, and various conditioning. Basically what they talk about is learning. And what they'll say is that that's all we are, is just learning, just layers and layers and layers and layers of learning. Every experience is laid upon another one to form this picture of reality, which is all what they call conditioned through our experiences, through layers and layers of learning. And they would say that there is nothing other than that to who we are. There is no human being as such there. We're effectively just a program. I personally struggle with that view, and no, they did do their experiments on dogs, mind you. But anyway, that's what a behavioural psychologist would say, is that is what you are, just layers and layers and layers and layers of learning, and a program. And I suppose if you're not mindful, if you're not able to observe your thinking, then that is true. We're all acting out according to a mindset, a set of beliefs, a worldview, an understanding of the world that is a product of our past, our layers and layers of conditioning and learning. And it starts the moment you open your eyes, doesn't it? You're born into the world, and your parents start that process, don't they? They with the very best intentions pass on their learning. They give you implanting you their view of the world, the culture you're brought up in, the language you learn to speak, your education and your experiences go to form this picture of me. And once this picture starts to take place, then it kind of becomes a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy, because we then experience or interpret every experience we have through that conditioned mindset. Are you still with me? I don't get too lost in this, but I want to give you some sort of basic understanding of the structure of the ego. So let's suppose, for example, my life experiences led me to believe that, I don't know, life is a struggle. There we are. Maybe my experiences are one of struggle. One of my pet, is one of struggle. So I might grow up with lack and shortage, where things are hard to come by and everything is a struggle to get, and that could become, a mindset, let's say, and maybe actually on some level, although I've got quite a privileged child, that maybe struggle is part of my mindset. I don't know, is that one of yours? Do you think life's a struggle? Because it will be a struggle, and boy, have I made it one, even unnecessarily. Because if the mindset is, well, life is a struggle, then that will be included. And I've even noticed myself just making things difficult and going around things the hard way. Why? Well, because it's supposed to be a struggle, isn't it? Do you see how something like that can become kind of embedded, and we start to act out from it? Now, if I have let's say a belief that I can't do something, well, I won't try, will I? I won't put the effort into it. And if I do, it would kind of be with a belief that it's not going to be successful. So it won't. So it kind of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that the lens through which I see the world determines my interaction with the world, which determines the world that comes back to me. And it's, if we're not aware of ourselves, we're not aware of these structures of learning, then we are a slave to that program. We have to operate from within that mindset. Does that make sense to you? But you're off to a fabulous start, aren't you? Because you're watching. You're watching your thoughts. So you're starting to observe your mindset. And that's not quite the same as being completely enslaved, because that space for awareness gives you choice. And my guess is you're already making those choices, choosing to step out of your conditioned thinking patterns and maybe do things differently.